You ever try to walk forward while looking backwards? You're going to trip, you're going to fall, and maybe that's the point. Because I don't know anybody who's achieved greatness who didn't fall again and again. The difference is they didn't fall back, they fell forward. When I was a young man, I had this audition. Thought I nailed it. I walked out of there ready to call my mom and tell her to turn on the TV. A few days later, nothing. No call, no roll, just silence. I could have said, maybe this ain't for me. I could have turned around, gone back to the safe path, but I didn't. I learned to fall forward. See, when you fall forward, it means you're falling in the direction of progress. It means every failure is a step toward where you want to be, not away from it. Too many people fall and stay there. They let fear of failure keep them from ever trying again. But let me tell you, fear has killed more dreams than failure ever will. Thomas Edison failed 1,000 times before he figured out how to make the light bulb work. Imagine if he stopped at 999. Imagine if he said, well, I guess I'm not cut out for this. No, he kept falling forward because every failure taught him something the success couldn't. You have to expect failure. You have to invite it. Because if you're playing it safe, you're not playing to win. Comfort is the enemy of growth. You hear me? Comfort might keep you still, but it won't take you anywhere. It won't build your future. I didn't become who I am because everything went right. I became who I am because I kept moving forward when everything was going wrong. And trust me, I've fallen hard. I've made mistakes. I've heard no more times than I can count. But every no was just a chapter, not the whole book. So the next time you stumble, don't ask why me, ask what's next. Stand up, dust yourself off, take another step. Because even if you fall, if you're falling forward, you're still moving. And that, my friends, is how you grow. That's how you build a life. One fall, one step, one lesson at a time. Desire is the spark, but discipline is the fire that keeps burning when the excitement fades. You see, it's easy to be motivated when things are going well, when the lights are bright, when the crowd is clapping, when the dream feels close enough to touch. But what about when you're tired? What about when no one's watching? What about those mornings when your bed feels warmer than your goals? That's when discipline has to kick in. I remember back when I was grinding, no headlines, no movie sets, just me in a mirror and a dream. There were days I didn't feel like rehearsing, days I wanted to quit, days I questioned if I was even good enough. But I showed up anyway. I kept rehearsing. I kept reading. I kept pushing. Because talent might open the door, but discipline walks through it and stays in the room. Let me be real with you. Desire is emotional. It's fickle. It shows up when it feels like it. But discipline is a decision. It's a contract you sign with your future. It says, no matter how I feel today, I will honor what I said I'd do. It's choosing growth over comfort. It's saying no to distractions so you can say yes to destiny. You want to be great? You want everything life has to offer? Then you have to do what most people won't. Wake up earlier, stay focused longer, train harder, study deeper, work when they rest, grind when they chill. I'm not saying you have to be perfect. I'm saying you have to be consistent. Discipline isn't glamorous. It won't get applause. It won't go viral, but it will make you excellent. And excellence, that's what lasts. There are people out there with half your talent doing twice as much because they show up every single day. Let that sink in. Consistency beats brilliance when brilliance doesn't show up. So stop waiting to feel inspired. Start being committed. Because the truth is, your dream doesn't care how you feel. It only cares how you act. Every day you choose discipline over desire, you're building something unbreakable. You're sculpting a legacy. And when the moment comes, when the opportunity knocks, you won't have to get ready. You'll already be ready. Purpose is bigger than a paycheck, bigger than applause, bigger than approval. Purpose is what keeps you going when every logical reason tells you to stop. See, I believe every single one of us was born with something inside, something sacred, a gift, a mission, a reason. And until you find that reason, you're just surviving. But when you do find it, when that purpose grabs hold of your chest and won't let go, now you're living. When I was young, I thought acting was just about the craft, the art, the performance. But as I walked deeper into my journey, I realized it wasn't about me at all. It was about who I could touch, who I could inspire, who I could lift up by simply being in alignment with the gift God gave me. That's purpose. When your life becomes bigger than your own comfort, purpose isn't always loud. Sometimes it whispers. Sometimes it shows up in the quiet moments when no one's clapping, when there's no stage, no spotlight. It might be found in a classroom, in a kitchen, on the street, in a conversation that saves someone's life and you don't even know it. You don't have to be famous to walk in purpose. You just have to be willing. And here's the thing, when you know your purpose, it becomes your compass. When the storms hit, when the doubt creeps in, when the road gets dark, your purpose says, keep going, I'm still here. It'll wake you up early. It'll keep you up late. It'll push you past your limits, not because you have to, but because you get to. But you got to stop chasing what's shiny and start listening to what's sacred. The world will try to sell you a version of success that has nothing to do with who you are. It'll hand you a script that doesn't match your soul. Tear it up. Write your own. Build a life rooted in meaning, not just money. Fulfillment, not just followers. Legacy, not just likes. Because when you walk in purpose, you're no longer just working. You're building something eternal, something that matters, something that will outlive you. And let me tell you, once you've touched that kind of fire, you'll never settle for anything less. Absolutely. Here's the conclusion of the speech, crafted with that same fire, elegance, and emotional punch that would leave an audience hanging on every word. Fall forward. Let your failures be footsteps. Choose discipline over fleeting desire, because consistency will carry you where motivation can't. Live with purpose, not just for applause, but for alignment. Fly with eagles. Rise above the noise, the doubt, the small talk, and the small mind. And keep your faith strong. Because when the world says impossible, faith says, watch me. You want everything in life? Then give everything you've got. Every ounce of effort, every late night, early morning, every drop of sweat, every silent sacrifice when nobody's watching. Because the dream doesn't come easy, but it does come to those who refuse to quit. And if you ever find yourself asking, can I really do this? Let me tell you what I tell myself. Yes, you can. Not because it'll be easy, not because you're lucky, but because you're willing. Willing to fall, willing to rise, willing to work, willing to believe. So go out there, walk with vision, speak with purpose, move with courage, and whatever you do, don't just live a life, leave a legacy. Thank you.